Hey there, everybody. I want to walk you through what we're going to do here for Unit 4 so that you've got an idea of what's coming up and what you need to do to make sure that you're engaging with the learning. Okay, so for Unit 4, we're still in nonfiction. Last week looked at personal essay. We're looking at something similar here, which is memoir. And this is a heavier writing week. So I do want to warn you in advance that you've got more work to do this week than you did last. So please pay close attention and don't wait until the last second to get to work on this, okay? I put a note down here to remind you that you do have an interview that you will be conducting during this unit. So go forward and look at 4.7 and get that scheduled right away, okay? Because you're going to need to put in a little bit of time to get it planned out before you can get it started, okay? So we're looking at memoir. Memoir does fall under nonfiction. And similar to personal essay, memoir can fall into creative nonfiction, which is where it's based upon a nonfiction event or a nonfiction series of events, and then has creative license kind of layered on top of it. Sometimes that happens. So I've got two videos that I want you guys to read through. One here and one here. You've got the links there. And I think that those will be helpful in just establishing memoir and thinking about how we operate as writers too. So this piece on why we procrastinate, that's also around this whole theme that I'm going to interweave throughout the entire course, which is about how we interact with the creative process. You may leave this class. I hope you leave this class and you continue to write throughout your life. But if you don't, I definitely hope that you find some other form of creativity that you choose to engage in on a regular basis, because I think that's really important. Okay. So a couple of little videos there. And then here we're going to read the first chapter of the story of Steve and Me, which is by Terry Irwin. She was married to Steve Irwin. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy. You guys are a little bit younger, so he might be before your time. But he was an Australian man who did these amazing television programs where he would go out and hang out with animals, like really wild animals sometimes. And he had this like amazing way of speaking, and he was just very engaging, and people really, really loved him. So his wife then, Terry, who was sometimes on the show as well, she came back and wrote a book about their experiences together. So the first chapter is here. I'd like you guys to read that. You don't have to read Angela's Ashes, but I do have it here. It's an amazing memoir of Frank McCourt's experiences of growing up in an impoverished lifestyle in Ireland in the 1950s, and then coming to the United States and starting a new life and so forth. It's a really, really powerful memoir. There's a video here which is on 6-word memoirs. I don't know if you've heard them before, but this video is all just a series of like 6-word memoirs that come up on the screen. It's got images and video going on in the background, and some really cool music and stuff. So I think that these 6-word memoirs are really powerful. The idea of a 6-word memoir is that you're taking a person's kind of whole life and you're just distilling that down to 6 words. So when you just have that significant limitation upon you of where you can only use 6 words, you choose your words very, very carefully. And I think this is a really fun exercise and something that we will do within this class. So take a look at that. It's pretty cool. And they do accept submissions actually here at Smith Teen. So you're welcome to consider that for a submission. Anytime that you submit and get accepted, let me know, because I do extra credit for students who submit and get accepted. Okay. Dun-da-da. Here it goes. Okay. So I've got an article here. It's by William Zinsser on how to write a memoir. And he is, he is passed now. You'll have to go to the front page here. You'll see that the link that will link you to the URL. We've got one here at 4.4 and another here at 4.6. So you'll click on that, and that's how it opens up that article. But William Zinsser is the writer of this article, and there we go. And he was the master at teaching people how to write nonfiction. Absolutely the master. I strongly recommend his books, especially if you're going to go into any kind of field that requires nonfiction writing. This guy really knows his stuff. And I think he's got spectacular advice around how to wrap your head around nonfiction writing and around how to design nonfiction writing and so forth. So I strongly recommend that you take a look at him. But I've got this article in here from William Zinsser, which is around memoir writing, how to write a memoir. And then I have this other one here, which is an NPR article that quotes William Zinsser. And they'll go into some of the things that he has to say about memoir writing. Okay. I've got an example here from James Thurber. I would like you to read that, please. If you don't get it the first time, read it the second time. It comes. Okay. First assignment that you have for this week, a journal entry. You're going to interview an elder, excuse me. It's worth 25 points. And this is 2 to 4 pages in total. Okay. So it can be smaller, it could be greater. What it's going to include is you are going to interview a person over the age of 60. No, you can't cheat and interview your mom who's only 42. You have to interview someone who is from the baby boomer generation or older. I'm trying to very specifically kind of get you out of your comfort zone to do this interview. That's why you're interviewing someone older. And you're going to interview them on the topic of having them explain a historical event to you. Okay. They can talk about whatever historical event that they want to. Doesn't matter to me. They could talk about the riots in Detroit. They can talk about the feminist movement. They can talk about the Iraq War. They can talk about John F. Kennedy being shot. Whatever it is that stands out to them as being something that's really important, that's fine. That's great. I want you to come up with a list of questions to ask your person in the interview, okay? And then what you will submit to me, I want every question and every statement that you make during the interview, and I want every response, trying to highlight here, that your person says, okay? At the end of that, I want a 200 to 400 word reflection, which isn't very long. 200 words is less than a page, on what was it like to do this interview process, and what was the outcome like? And here we go, some questions for you to answer, okay? So I want you to then reflect upon, how'd that go for you? What went well, what didn't go so well, things like that. Okay. You may not interview a young family member. Okay. I mean it. I really want to push you guys to interview someone over the age of 60. Okay. You may not interview someone who did not experience the historical event. Okay. You can't do that. You can't interview someone who says, yeah, I can tell you about what happened in China in the 1970s. And they weren't there. They didn't experience it. It wasn't a part of their lives. So no, don't include that one. I would recommend that you reach out to a grandparent, great aunt or uncle, or an older community member, a teacher, or a leader, as soon as you can, so you can get this scheduled. That's going to be pretty important. Don't wait until the last second. Okay. That usually goes badly if you wait until the last second. So try to jump on that quickly. All right. And then the second piece that you have is your memoir assignment. You're going to write a piece of your own memoir. You're going to write one personal story. I am looking for 3 or more pages in lengths. We're talking double spaced on that. Okay. Times New Roman 12 or Arial 11. Got some resources for you here. Just because you're a teenager doesn't mean that you don't have memories worth recording and reporting. This is absolutely true. I teach memoir writing to adults in Boulder, Longmont, and Denver. I teach these weekend workshops to people. And I oftentimes have young people who show up to my workshops. And I really go out of my way to include them, because just because you're young doesn't mean that you don't have something important to say from your life, okay? I want you to choose an event from your life to write about, and I want it to be in here. Make sure that when you write this, that this is something that you would be comfortable submitting to school. This is a school assignment, okay? It's not a therapy session. It's not an opportunity for you to share something inappropriate or share something that you're uncomfortable with. So make sure that you are sharing something that you are okay sharing at school, okay? It is a school assignment. Sometimes I get things that are a little on the edge, and I just want to make sure that you understand This is